Hey guys, Brian delivers you the goods here. I'm returning to you this morning. Well, kind of almost late this morning for a end of the year video, and this is the final end of the year video that I'm excited to talk about, which is for best movies of 2020, which I might have to make them in parts, but I'll talk about from 12 to 1 what is on my list and let you know my thoughts on each movie. So let's start at number 12, which is Birds of Prey. Now, I thought this was the best movie, in my opinion, but I know a lot of people think it's not the best movie. But I personally liked it. I didn't see nothing wrong with it. It's a Harley Quinn movie, so um yeah, it was really enjoyable. Um and Ewan McGregor is in the movie too. He plays the villain. Um It's been a little while since I've seen this movie, so sorry if I can't remember everything about it. Um, but yeah, Birds of Prey was a really good one. There's also the shrieking, what is it? Shrieking girl that just uses her voice to scream at you and I guess potentially kill you or whatever. I'm not sure. But yeah, this was a pretty good movie. Uh, Margot Robbie playing as returning as her character Harley Quinn was she does a great Harley Quinn in my personal opinion. I think she's a great Harley Quinn. But yeah, at number 12 I picked Birds of Prey. Number 11 I picked Borat's subsequent movie film. Now, this is the sequel to the first Borat that came out like almost 14, 15 years ago. So it's been a while. It's been over a decade since the last Borat movie. So, yeah, I'm pretty stoked that this movie was surprisingly pretty good. It wasn't disappointing. Um, there were some moments in the movie that I wasn't sure about liking, but yeah, he pretty much punked like a lot of these Trump supporters and a lot of these Antifa people and all that. He punked a lot of people, including Rudy Giuliani, and I'm like, oh god, this is just hilarious. So yeah, he's kind of crazy when he does this stuff, Sacha Baron Cohen. But it's dangerous for him to do this stuff in real life to actually uh, make a film where you have to expose real life people. And it's kind of crazy. So, yeah, I really enjoyed it. And the plot was spot on good. So, I highly recommend you check this second Borat movie out if you haven't seen it. At number 11, I picked Borat subsequent movie film. Number 10, I picked Love and Monsters. Now, I didn't think this movie would surprise me with how good it is. Um, Dylan O'Brien plays in this movie, and then he finds this dog or whatever towards the time where he's leaving his uh secluded place or whatever, his isolated place where he's uh has to seek shelter and all that from these monsters that grew so big. Like the monsters took over the world, and now he's got a. Uh, his mission was mostly to find his long lost lover or whatever. That he's been waiting to see for a long time, like over 7 years. He waited, and yeah, it just it surprised me with how good the plot was, and I wasn't disappointed with this movie. Um, there were some moments in the movie that I wasn't sure about liking. Like I said, I know I said that already, but yeah, it wasn't a bad movie. So at number 10, I picked Love and Monsters. It was actually pretty good, and the storyline was really good. It executed very well, and it made it in my top 10. So that's a good thing. So yeah, at number 9, I picked Sonic the Hedgehog. Now this came out February 14th of this year, and I gotta say, it's not that disappointing. I pretty much just, yeah. Jim Carrey plays in this movie, and Ben Schwartz plays as Sonic as well. James Marsden plays as his companion, like the guy that's helping him to get back to his world or whatever, because he landed on Earth or whatever from a different dimension. He used these rings to teleport to places, which is actually pretty cool. I didn't think this movie would succeed. When I first saw the original costume design for Sonic, not costume design, but the CGI for Sonic and how he looked like human form, kind of Sonic, but they had to change it up so he'd look exactly like how he would in the video games, which they did a lot better, changing his CGI design for what his character is going to look like. Uh, but yeah, uh, Sonic the Hedgehog was a really awesome movie. I really want to own this movie for sure because I found it at a good deal for $10, but I wasn't able to get it because I didn't have the money, unfortunately. Because money's tight because of COVID and all that, and trying to make money to survive mostly. So I've had to sacrifice getting the stuff I wanted this year to buying groceries and all that for this whole year. So I haven't had a chance to buy a lot of luxury items, I guess you could say. But still, at number 9, we had Sonic the Hedgehog. It was a really awesome movie. Highly recommend you check it out. I am going to be purchasing this movie soon, or when I get the chance to. Uh, but yeah, it was a really good movie. At number 8, I picked Call of the Wild, or The Call of the Wild. It has Harrison Ford in this movie, and I gotta say, it was actually pretty good. Good storyline. I think I originally gave it an 8 out of 10, but I bumped it up to an 8.5 because it didn't disappoint. This was a really good movie. Um, I liked the story behind the dog that Harrison Ford has to take care of and all that for the longest time, and then towards the end of the movie you see that he runs with the wolves and all that, so it's pretty cool how the story ends. Um and it's a really good movie. uh I know I keep saying that it's a really good movie and all that. I just can't think of a right word to mention it as, but I remember watching this and I enjoyed it. It was enjoyable. So I highly recommend you check this movie out if you haven't seen it this year. So at number 8, I picked The Call of the Wild. Number 7, I picked The Devil All the Time. Now this was a surprisingly good movie. I didn't think Robert Pattinson would play as uh I don't want to say the word, a child fucker or whatever, which is really fucked up when you think about it. And I'm like, ew. I'm like, this is gross. I didn't want to say the word because I was like really hesitant on saying that word, but he really did. Um, he was sleeping with underage girls, and I'm like, ugh, he's a pedo for sure. Uh, so then Tom Holland has to pretty much his sister in the movie. I don't want to spoil it for you if you haven't seen it, but it's a really good movie. It talks about each character's stories and all that, and every scene in the movie they go to talk about one character's side or kind of story or backstory or whatever, and then they mostly focus on Tom Holland's character in the beginning. Then they go to a different characters, and Robert Pattinson's character comes in a little later in the movie, and he seems nice and all until you see his true colors get revealed towards the middle of the movie, I think. So it's really fucked up that he's like that in this movie, but he's a great actor, I gotta say. He's not really that. It's just in the movie he portrayed himself as that character. He had to play that character to get the role or whatever. But at number 7, I picked The Devil All the Time. It actually ended pretty well. Pretty scary that it ended that way, a certain way or whatever, but it ended pretty fine. So, yeah, at number 7, I picked The Devil All the Time. At number 6, I picked Bill and Ted Face the Music. This is going to have to be the last one I'll talk about. And then I'll have to come at you for part 2, which will be the last part. Yeah, Bill and Ted Face the Music was a pretty awesome, tacular movie. I didn't think this would be on my best movies of 2020, but surprisingly did pretty good. The storyline's great. It's awesome that Keanu Reeves and Alex Winter return as their characters, Bill and Ted, after so many years, after almost 30 years. But it actually worked very well. And a lot of people are saying, oh, they need to make a 4th one. I'm like, I don't think so. I think it's fine the way it ended. Some things need to be, some things you just need to let it die and all that, and not, return to it or whatever and try to make a sequel or whatever for it. But yeah, not Devil All the Time. Almost said The Devil All the Time again. I am so sorry. I'm slurring my words today. Bill and Ted Face the Music was really good. They have to save the world to create this new song that they haven't written yet, and they were supposed to make it 25 years ago, and they got lazy. So they have like an hour and 10 minutes to make the song, like 70 minutes to make this song. And yeah, they eventually do make the song. Just takes a little bit of time for them to come up with the idea for the song. But they only have an hour and 10 minutes to save the world from destruction. So they have to make that song before the world ends, is kind of the whole plot, which is pretty cool. How the plot is, but it actually worked very well. There were some jokes that I liked in it, and there were some things that weren't so funny, but still, good movie for what it was. So I can't give this a disappointing rating. So I gave it an 8.5 out of 10 when I reviewed it, because I really enjoyed this movie. So at number 6, I picked Bill and Ted Face the Music. And definitely go check this movie out if you haven't seen it, because it's worth watching. That's going to be it for part 1 of the best movies of 2020 video. I'll have to return to you for part 2 of best movies of 2020 video. But I hope you enjoyed this first part. I did the best I could to make it as good as possible. Definitely stay safe. Take care. And I'll see you in part 2 of the best movies of 2020 video.